Boom. We are back. The DFS huddle for some more degenerate DFS preseason action. We're going to go over this preseason week 1 Friday slate. It's a 3-game slate. First things first, I want to say thank you to everyone for all the support yesterday, watching the show. We had a really pretty successful day. Jamar Chase, Tanner Hudson, both the Cleveland or Baltimore running backs were fantastic. Horton was fantastic. Hudson was fantastic.
Hudson's a great call by you, dude. Great call by you.
We had a really good show yesterday. So thank you to everyone watching. Please hit that like button, subscribe button. Eric, I guess we could a little recap of last night. What went right? What went wrong? We sort of touched on what went right. A couple guys that were letdowns. That Colts running game all around. Everything got thrown off with that injury to Richardson early.
That got thrown off. Martinez from the Seahawks got thrown off a little bit. Walker from the Ravens. You mentioned he was on the field a ton. They just weren't getting him the rock. So something to kind of monitor. Do we look to target the Ravens running backs a little bit more?
In the preseason? Yeah, probably. And today's, we've got some, I think today's a little bit tougher than yesterday was. Again, there's some things that we missed. Shout out to my boy Kevin. Appreciate you watching. George Halani. I didn't have him anywhere on my radar. We missed him for the Seahawks, the running back for the Seahawks. And he was 20% owned. So I just flat out missed that. Devontae Walker was awful. That whole, he just couldn't throw the ball. Cooper Rush looked terrible. Devin Leary's not very good. But really, other than that, I thought it was overall a successful night. And look, this is preseason, so we're scrounging, scrapping, trying to find some information. So you got a play out there, a question, make sure you get it out there in the chat box. We see your questions. We'll get to all of them as quickly as you can. We know we're a little bit earlier than usual, so you might be watching this on a replay. We appreciate all that stuff very, very much. But if you're in here live, thank you. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Keep an eye out. We'll be having a Patreon for the season long soon. So all these sheets and player lists that you hear us talking about, you'll be able to access them. Really reasonable. We made it like $5, $60 for the whole year, $5 a week. Yeah. Super cheap. So we'll have all that stuff out. So keep your eyes peeled for all of that stuff. A couple takeaways from yesterday. Some player like the Bengals defense.
Awful.
Is going to be bad. There's going to be a lot of overs. The offense looked great. That defense against the second unit looked terrible. And a couple players that really, outside of Tanner McKee, who looked fantastic for the Eagles. I thought Jalen Milroe actually looked really solid, looked athletic, looked fast. I thought he looked like a lot of fun, and he made some really good throws. A third down throw near the end of the game really stood out to me, threw it in between traffic, good timing. I think Milroe's going to be good. And another guy, Jacardier Wright, this rookie for the Seahawks. I thought he flashed off the screen. He looked like a young Adrian Peterson to me. The way he ran, physical, knocking defenders back when they made contact. I think the Seahawks might have found something there with Jacardier Wright. It's going to be hard for him to see touches unless, Walker and Charbonnet get hurt. But I thought that was sort of a diamond in the rough, Jacardier Wright. I thought he looked really good. Was there anyone that kind of stood out to you last night? Like, wow, this guy.
I think, remember a couple years ago, Keaton Mitchell was the guy. He looked great last night for me. I mean, for me, that's kind of the guy I want to get because I think Derrick Henry's going to go down this year just because of the wear and tear. And I think that's kind of the guy you want to make sure you handcuffed is get Mitchell because he looked explosive. He looked really explosive.
Yeah, and for those of you guys doing season-long drafts, we've thrown together a few short videos covering some strategy. You can find that on the YouTube page here on Twitter. You can find it. Just breaking down for your season-long fantasy drafts. We have a bunch of that stuff too. So thank you to everyone watching. I appreciate all that. Let's get started. Let's jump right into quarterbacks here. And the situations are pretty easy to describe here. So every team outside of New England and Carolina are going to be playing. Essentially, they have two quarterbacks splitting duties today. And for the Lions, you've got Hendon Hooker and Kyle Allen. They're going to flip roles. So Hendon Hooker is going to start today and play the first half, and then Kyle Allen's going to replace him. They're coming off a really bad showing, but there might be an advantage there. They're playing the extra preseason game. They sort of got to knock some of the rust off a week ago in the Hall of Fame game. They didn't look good. They got trounced by the Chargers. The offense, just everything was pedestrian outside of the running game with Craig Reynolds and Jabari Smalls. But they're going to be splitting. Hendon Hooker's going to get the start. Then in Atlanta, no Kirk Cousins or Michael Penix Jr. So you're going to have Easton Stick most likely starting play in the first half, and he's going to be replaced by Emory Jones. So some rushing upside for both of those guys. In Cleveland, we already know it looks like Shedeur Sanders is going to play and play a lot. They're saying 50 snaps, probably. Yeah, Easton Stick. He's got the rushing upside. I got to line up with Easton Stick in, and we'll talk about it. Yo, what's up, DFS Whispers? Appreciate everyone coming in here. Here's everyone. We know we're a little bit earlier today, so it's harder to find at different schedules at work, etc. So we appreciate you guys coming in. But Shedeur's supposed to play about 50 snaps, and then they just have Snoop Huntley, and he hasn't been there long. He's the only other quarterback who's going to play tonight. And for Washington, it's only going to be 2 quarterbacks as well. Josh Johnson will probably start, the veteran, and then Sam giving way to Sam Hartman. Carolina, they're going to start Bryce Young. He's going to play a little bit. It appears that's going to be the case for the Patriots. They've been a little bit more tight-lipped about it, but it looks like the Patriots are going to start Drake May, and then they'll give way to the Pasternak, Josh Dobbs, and Ben Woolridge will take over from there on out. For Carolina, it'll be Bryce Young starting, I think, playing about a couple series, it looks like, for Carolina, and then Andy Dalton, and then Jack Plummer is the only other quarterback there. So looking at all these quarterbacks, I have Shedeur already, obviously, in a couple just because from all the reports, they're going to open up the passing game for him. They say it's going to be a four wide receiver sets they're talking about here. But he's not going to have that huge rushing upside that you're going to get out of a Hendon Hooker, out of an Easton Stick, out of an Emory Jones. What are we doing at quarterback? What do you think?
I did Shedeur Sanders. Flacco, Pickett, Gabriel's hurt. You mentioned it. He's going to be the guy who gets the majority of their run. Now, they brought in Snoop Huntley. I know he's a veteran. He literally just signed Tuesday. He's still learning the playbook. I mean, so does that mean that we're going to get 3 quarters of Sanders just on play volume alone? He's intriguing for me. I think he flashed in camp. Like day 4, he had 3 touchdown passes on day 4 in camp. Now he's going to go against the Panthers defense. And last year, that Panthers defense wasn't that good. And for what I read, they're going to be playing a lot of second string guys tonight. I think he's got a real shot to pile up some yards, some TDs. And I'm going to stack him with Harold Fannin. Did I say that right? The tight end. I think for him, the tight end, the underneath stuff for the tight end, the safety value. This guy was a PPR machine at Bowling Green, setting the record for catches. I think he's going to get a lot of run because no Njoku, and you want to see what you got in this game.
Yeah,
so my stack for the night.
Yeah, so quarterback-wise, I have Shedeur ranked 1 for tonight just because of the volume, what he's supposed to see. He's going to get a ton of work. And then I got Easton Stick 2, Hendon Hooker 3. And then I really struggle here. Someone mentioned Sam Hartman. I hate the Lakers 99 like Sam Hartman. You could see some solid play out of the veteran Josh Johnson, but I think for me, the quarterbacks I'm playing tonight, Shedeur, Easton Stick, and like Josh Dobbs is on the radar for me. Emory Jones has the rushing upside as well. He's going to play the second half. What do you think about some of these guys? Like Kyle Allen's interesting, right? He had a horrible Hall of Fame game, so people are going to be down on him. He's getting the second half. She's going to be playing with a lot of the second half guys. Any interest in the Lions quarterbacks? I
look at Hendon Hooker. I have Hendon Hooker too tonight. That was the guy.
I think that makes sense. If I'm missing a quarterback, I'm sorry, but I think we covered them all. That's essentially how I'd have them ranked. Bryce Young and Drake May just aren't going to play enough. Like last night, we played Joe Burrow, and it worked out great. Exactly how we wanted, really. 2 touchdowns, 1 to Hudson, 1 to Chase. Exactly kind of how we drew it up. It's a different scenario, and they haven't committed to playing them the whole quarter. So that's a little bit off from me. I think right now it's Shedeur. He's going to be heavily owned. So if you're looking to pivot off of Shedeur Sanders is probably going to be 40-45% owned. I don't have projections in front of me, but he's going to be heavily owned on both sides. And again, salaries are the same for every player, so it doesn't matter. Easton Stick, I think, is a good pivot. Emory Jones is even trickier. And I think Josh Dobbs could see a lot of action and kind of be a sleeper veteran guy with the Patriots. So just some people to keep an eye on. Let's get to the running backs. And this is where it gets interesting. And I got to tell you, I'm back to the Lions running backs here. When you look at Craig Reynolds and Jabari Smalls, they had double-digit carries in the Hall of Fame game. Starters are, again, not gonna play, or not gonna play. I don't think the starters play at all. There's no way you see Jahmyr Gibbs or Montgomery for the Lions. Here we go. Yep. Yesterday was a good day. Had him in the Bengals -5 first quarter. I took the over first quarter yesterday too. That all worked out great. But I have Craig. I think Craig Reynolds and Jabari Smalls double-digit carries again. They should lead the backfield again. I think they make a ton of sense. Just starting off at the top, running backs. What do you got? Who are you focusing on this?
I got two guys I'm focusing on. The first guy, we talked about him during our running back show, was I think he's going to come out tomorrow. Or
running. Or wait, have we done quarterbacks already? We did, right?
Yeah. So no, wide receivers comes out. We'll do wide. Sorry. So this is going to come out beginning of the week. The guy I'm really high on, who thinks going to be that running back that wins you a fantasy football championship, my boy JCM from the Commanders. No Eckler tonight. No Robinson. You got Nichols and you got Rodriguez and you got JCM, who's going to be competing for that backup job. Scored 17 touchdowns in college. He was drafted in the 7th round. Now, the only reason he was drafted in the 7th round is because he didn't play last year because there was this paperwork mess. If he would have played, he would have been drafted right in that, not with like Harvey, but right in that next tier of running backs. Playing against the Patriots. Patriots already came out saying they're going to be playing a ton of backups. I think JCM is going to get a ton of work, and this is a guy that needs to perform to make the team. So I'm all about him.
Yeah, Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, for those of you wondering, he's on the Commanders. My notes on him, lots of touches expected. He's been making a ton of big plays in camp. I think they highlight him tonight. Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt's definitely, he's in my lineup, the lineups that I've started making, my main lineups. He's certainly in there. You mentioned Chris Rodriguez. What do you think about him? He's kind of a fantasy, preseason fantasy guy. You think he gets some work late? Is this a situation we could stack running backs?
I think he starts the game. I think he plays the first quarter and a half, and they see what they got with JCM. And Rodriguez, to me, is just kind of this dude. He's been there for how long? You know what I mean?
A while. Yeah.
You know what I think?
Those sort of guys. Look at George Holani last night. Yeah. Very similar situation. Kind of been with the Seahawks, a special teamer, a team guy, yada, yada. So there could be some of that. In the preseason, some of these coaches, when you've got these team guys who've been on the practice squad, who've been with you, they become, it's almost a Rudy situation. The team's rooting for him. The coaches are rooting for him. Some of the fans are rooting for him. So those sort of things are interesting. But I do like Krosky-Merritt quite a bit tonight.
And then I have one more running back I really like. He's going to be in my lineups. Carlos Washington Jr. for the Falcons.
Yes.
With Robinson Algier, the third running back spot is up for grabs. Washington finished last preseason in the passing game, 6 catches for 42. He has the size to punch into the goal line. We need to remember Lions were bad against the run last week in the Hall of Fame game. If Atlanta moves the ball well, Washington could be in line to cash one in. And last year, he had a 70-yard run. So he's got some breakaway speed, and he's competing for that third string running back job. And I mean, in stuff like this is the wild, wild west, betting these things. We don't know how much everyone's going to play. I tend to try to target people that are competing for jobs.
Sure. Absolutely. Carlos Washington Jr. should see a good amount of touches. Like you said, third on the depth chart. You won't see Bijan Robinson. I'd be surprised if they ran Tyler Algier much, if at all. Those spots are locked up. So a guy like Carlos Washington Jr., I think makes a ton of sense. A few other running backs just I have on my radar and have some notes for. A couple of Browns running backs. Dylan Sampson, the rookie, I think should see some work tonight. You won't see Jeremiah Ford much, if at all. Quinshon Judkins is battling all these off-field issues, so what are we going to get from him? I think you're going to see a lot of Dylan Sampson and Pierre Strong Jr. for Cleveland, so a couple running backs that I could certainly see there. Another guy for the Patriots who they've liked a lot in camp. He's battling for that fourth running back spot behind Gibson, Stevenson, and Travion Henderson is Lan Larison for the Patriots. They like Lan Larison quite a bit. I saw a couple reports on this guy, so he's someone who I sort of have on my radar. And going into that Carolina offense, a guy like Trevor Etienne, the rookie, again, they're going to have their top two guys. I can't remember off the top of my head. They're going to play a little bit to start the game.
Yeah,
Chuba Hubbard, Rico Dowdle, but then it's going to be Blackshear, Trevor Etienne. I think they'll give the rookie some touches. What do you think?
Yeah, I actually have him in my flex position. I actually have him in the flex, 4th-round rookie. Brooks is on the pub list. I don't think Rico or Chuba is going to play at all.
Well, they're playing the starters. They're going to play some because they're playing the starters. A couple of drives with Bryce Young. So
I think he's going to get plenty of touches. Also, he is good in the pass catching game, multiple pass to score. And I think the motivation's there because, again, he is playing for a roster spot, trying to be that running back 3 on the depth chart. And Jonathan Brooks was drafted to be this running back of the future for the Panthers. With the multiple knee injuries he's gotten, Trevor Etienne, if he does well, could morph into what the Panthers expected from Jonathan Brooks. So I love him too.
Yeah.
I have him on a flex spot.
Yeah, I think, and one other flyer, maybe a guy you see in the second half, like a pass catching back, Amani Marshall for Cleveland. I know they've used him a lot in pass packages during camp. So Amani Marshall would be like another one of those deep sleepers. Let's get to the wide receivers. Again, I had Devontae Walker in a ton yesterday. He got me a 0, and I made 5 lineups last night, and I cashed in all 5. So I had
there you go.
Had a pretty cool night. I had a lot of Jamar Chase and Tanner Hudson, though. I had them in every lineup, so that helps when you get 35 right there, and you only need about 75 to cash. That helps out quite a bit. Let's get to these wide receivers here. Of course, it's boom or bust, and we don't know who's going to do what. I want to start up top with the Lions. I've got Isaac Tesla again. There's not going to be any. Who's the young kid? Dominic, the kid who was really good. He was kind of the one bright spot for him last week. The wide receiver for the Lions. I have his name here. I don't have it on here, but he's not going to play today. I can't remember his name. You're the Lions guy. Who's the young Lions guy who's not going to play tonight?
I am totally spacing on his name too.
Played in the Hall of Fame game here. I can find it right here. Dominic Lovett, who was heavily involved, had 5 catches. He's not going to play tonight, so that's going to increase chances for guys like Tom Kennedy, who they like quite a bit, and Isaac Tesla. What do you think? We go back to Tesla? Is he gonna play significant minutes again? And does it change things that now Hooker's starting the first half? Certainly less of a passer probably than Kyle Allen. Is that going to hurt these Detroit wide receivers? Do we want to stay off of it?
No, I have him in my lineup. Tim Patrick's been very inconsistent. The one thing that's really stood out to me about the Lions camp is Tim Patrick been talking about how much of a grueling camp it was. Tesla's been looking great. He's getting runs with a first string, 2 catches for 46 yards in the Hall of Fame game. Detroit traded up to get him. I think he's going to get every opportunity to kind of see what he is being the number 1 wide receiver. Also, the big news coming out of Detroit is there's the book's kind of out on Hayden Hooker. They drafted him to be the guy in waiting for Goff to kind of develop him. Last year, they brought in Teddy Bridgewater toward the end of the season because Hayden Hooker was struggling so much to end the season. I think Hooker is going to look to air it out a little bit more than run the ball. So I absolutely love him. I have 2 other guys I like. I like Lane from the Commanders. From what I'm reading, he has been Sam Hartman's go-to guy. Obviously, no Scary Terry. Obviously, no Debo. Other starters sitting. I think Lane's going to get plenty of run. And with Hartman being the guy under center, he's going to look to the guy that he's been going to the most in camp. Looking at his stats from the combine, 40-inch vertical, 4.34 40, so he can run. So you're going to get him in space, maybe some wide receiver springs with the Kingsbury offense. Has chemistry with a quarterback. Absolutely love Lane. One more, Efton Chisholm from the Patriots. Undrafted rookie. Patriots are thin at the wide receiver room. And I don't think Douglas, I don't think Diggs, I don't think those guys are going to play that much. When I was looking at spring practice, I read that he caught 50 balls from Drake May so far in practice. Vrabel, from the press clippings, has been praising him. Undrafted rookie, I think he's going to get some extended time tonight. And for me, that's exactly what I want in a preseason. A guy that's fighting to make the roster and going to get extended playing time and getting praised by Mike Vrabel, who doesn't just throw around praise.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't hate those plays. So some guys I got notes on here on my player sheet. If you're looking to play Shador Sanders and you're looking to stack it, a couple of guys that have looked like they've had a connection with him in camp. Again, there will be no Cedric Tillman. There will be no Jerry Jeudy tonight. Luke Floria apparently has looked really good with Shador in camp. That's a guy that I will probably be focusing on. And DeAndre Carter, another guy showing some rapport, a veteran there with the Browns, could see the field a lot tonight. Floria, I think, makes a ton of sense. You talk about Jalen Lane. He's also going to be returning kicks. So there's all sorts of threats there with Jalen Lane for the Commanders. So I like that play quite a bit. Another Commanders wide receiver, Luke McCaffrey, has really improved. They said it's a night and day difference from last year. He's slotted in as a number 2 slot receiver. I could see it a lot. I could see them trying to get the ball to Luke McCaffrey. Some other wide receiver, when you look at Carolina, one kid who I've got a lot of, Tetsuara McMillan, the rookie, they love him. He's been making plays with Dalton, with Bryce Young. I could see an opening drive sort of touchdown to McMillan. I could absolutely see that. They really like him there. And a guy like Jalen Coker, they're going to play him a ton of minutes. They expect big things out of Coker. They want him to make the team, in my view, battling for a receiver spot. Hunter Renfrow came out of retirement. They got all these receivers here. Jalen Coker is another guy I can see. And if you want to get deep down, Bryson Tremaine for the Panthers did catch 2 touchdowns from Jack Plummer, who will be playing the back end of this game. So a guy he's got a little bit of rapport with if you're trying to stack some guys, Bryce Tremaine, Jack Plummer, if you're trying to get a little bit jiggy with it further down. When you talk about the Patriots wide receivers, one guy stood out to me. Apparently hit the hat trick in the last 7-on-7 drill, scoring 3 straight touchdowns. Javon Baker, who they had high hopes for. I like Javon Baker for the Patriots quite a bit. Him and Jalen Polk, a couple of young guys who they really need to step up. They've been working in camp. I think you see a lot out of those guys tonight. And one guy for the Falcons that I'm probably going to stack with Easton Stick, David Sills V. Has had an excellent camp. I don't think you see a lot of Drake London. Darnell Mooney is hurt, so they moved Casey Washington up to sort of taking his spot. So I don't know how much Casey Washington you see. David Sills V could be a sneaky wide receiver for the Falcons. Anyone else that I haven't mentioned that we should bring up? Again, we're going to miss some of them. I get it, but those are who I have notes on.
No, that's basically everyone that I had circled down.
This next position, I don't know about you, but tight ends were tough. It was tough to find tight ends. I have Harold Fannin Jr. They've been talking about him in camp. They need him to step up. You mentioned Njoku being out. Harold Fannin, I think, makes a ton of sense. Are there any other tight ends on your radar? I've got about 3 or 4 tight ends I have notes on. That's it.
I mean, when you look at tight ends, I mean, the first one is obviously, and it's going to be dicey, Kyle Pitts.
Really?
I mean,
if you're going to play him, you think?
If he plays, I would play him.
I just don't know that he's going to play.
Like, that's something you're having to see. Like, it's a gamble. This DFS stuff, it's a gamble. He's going to be low owned. If you're playing like a bigger contest, throw one in there. Because, dude, we've seen with the tight end boards, if he gets 30 yards and a touchdown, we're doing backflips. I don't know if he's going to be playing. He was really intriguing to me. Obviously, I'm on Harold Fannin as well. The other guy that I would look to would probably be Brock Wright for the Lions, because the Lions are still going to funnel to the middle of the field. Laporte isn't probably not going to be playing. Wright is that second in line. And then also for the Lions,
Shane Zylstra.
Zylstra. Is that how you say his name? Zylstra?
I would like to just point something out. You guys, those of you who are going to be with us all season long, you're going to notice something. One of my favorite things about Eric, we've done lots of shows together. We used to do UFC shows. And one thing you are going to notice, he knows the players' names, but he ain't going to say them right. Okay. He's going to butcher about every single name that you get. So just sit back, enjoy it, try to pick your favorite one. I just wanted to throw that in there for the audience.
I struggle pronouncing it. Full transparency, I am god effing awful pronouncing it.
I think it's hilarious. One of my favorite things. But Shane Zylstra, right? I think Shane Zylstra is the receiving tight end, and as one of the backups, he's trying to battle to stay on the roster. He's been with the team for a while. You've seen Shane Zylstra in the regular season for the Lions be targeted in the red zone. I think he's got some touchdown upside, Shane Zylstra.
100%. And that's going to be a team that's going to look to work the middle of the field. those are kind of the three guys I was looking to. Obviously, Kyle Pitts all depends if he plays. And
I don't think he is. Again, I don't have that confirmed, but I don't think that Drake London or Washington, I don't, if they do, very, very little. But again, I'm speculating right there. One other tight end, we sort of talked about everyone I kind of had interest in. The only other one out in Carolina, Jatavian Sanders. Apparently, he has been an absolute stud in camp. He's been the big storyline is how great he and McMillan have been. People love this kid, Jatavian Sanders. He's having a great camp. I could see an early touchdown on that first drive as well, first or second drive to this kid. They love him out there in Carolina. Tight end spot is wide open in Carolina. You're not going to see any Tommy Tremble tonight. I think Jatavian Sanders has a legitimate shot to see quite a few targets and be on the field quite a bit tonight. What do you think about him?
Love it. Absolutely love it, dude. I mean, like I said, it's those guys that are battling for positions. That's what I really want to do. That's what I really want.
Ignore the Devers news. It's an inside joke from the baseball show. Someone tried to argue with me about Devers, and I had to mute him from the show. So it's an ongoing thing to trigger me to give me false news. People get when I get false news in the chat box, and you're trying to run a show, and then you're like, "Oh shit, is that news real or not?" So it's a kind of a throwback to that. Shout out to my boy, Kevin. Well, the last position is defense, and the Ravens were good yesterday. The Seahawks ended up being fine, but all the defenses were kind of lumped in. I think we hit the nail on the head. We eliminated Philly and Cincy early. So tonight's defense is, what are we doing here? I got to tell you, I looked at the Patriots defense pretty hard. You're going to get Josh Johnson and Sam Hartman. I mean, sign me up for that. I mean, you can make an argument for Carolina. You're going to have a rookie quarterback, there's the player with the most pressure, the biggest spotlight by far tonight is Shedeur Sanders. So you could see, some mistakes in Carolina. So Carolina's defense, I think, is live. Right now, I have the Patriots ranked first. I would rank Washington's last. I think you see a better outing from Detroit today because they've had the extra week and that extra game. So I'm not sure how big I am on Atlanta. Where do you fall on defenses? Because right now I'm feeling the Patriots.
For me, the defense depends on who you want at your quarterback position. If you think Sanders is going to shit the bed, excuse my language, you're going to go with the Panthers.
You can cuss on this show. You could say fuck the bed. You could say jerk
you know
the bed off
if you think Bryce Young isn't going to look good, like whatever quarterback you want to attack and you think is going to struggle the most, that's what you have to do. With that being said, I did the Browns. I like Jim Schwartz, dude. I like Jim Schwartz, and I'm not a Bryce Young guy.
And he's only going to play a drive or two, and then after that you get Andy Dalton, the Red Rifle, and then you get Jack Plummer. So yeah, I don't hate that Browns defense. So how would you have them ranked? If you ranked them 1 to 6, the defenses, how would you rank them?
For me, it's 1-2 Browns, Panthers, or Panthers. Like, you know what I mean? It kind of depends on which quarterback you have the most faith in, so to speak. The next one, I completely agree with you. I think the Lions defense, I think that kind of takes a step forward. The Lions would be 3. And then I'd probably say Commanders 4, Falcons 5, Patriots 6.
Ooh, so you got Patriots 6. I got Patriots 1. I'm taking Patriots 1. I have no faith in Josh Johnson or Sam Hartman.
Well, one of us is going to be right. One of us is going to be wrong.
Which is beautiful.
That's exactly what we want.
That's exactly right. Hedge our bets as often as possible. So no matter what, we go, hey, great show. Look what we got right. But I'm just attacking. I just don't trust that quarterback room. Fuck Johnson and Sam Hartman. So I'd have them ranked 1. I think I would go. I think Cleveland 2 is interesting to me. I don't hate that, especially once you get past Bryce. They've looked good in camp so far, but everyone says that. So I'd probably go Cleveland 2, Detroit 3. Then for me, it would be. I got the Commanders last. I think Josh Dobbs and Drake May and company can play pretty well there.
Okay.
I probably have the Falcons last. I think we see a step up from that Lions offense. today, and Carolina like second to last. We'll see what happens with Shador, of course. A lot of wild cards when it gets into that. That's all the positions. Before we go here, kind of run them over. Give us like a core three or four guys you're building your lineup around tonight.
I am going to go with Fannin, the tight end from the Browns, Sanders, and JCM from the Commanders.
Yeah, I like JCM. He's going to be a lot of lineups for me, but I'm going to say Craig Reynolds. I'm going back to the well. Craig Reynolds, I could see him getting into the end zone again. I'm going to have a ton of him. Wide receiver wise, I really think I'm going to have a lot, probably too much. Tetwara McMillan, I think he's going to play with the first and second units for Carolina. They really, really like him out there. And at tight end, yeah, I'm going to do two because I'm going to have some Shane Zylstra, but I'm also going to have some Harold Fannin Jr. I think he has quite a good game as well. I'm trying to think anyone else that I have to have tonight. Carlos Washington Jr., I'm going to have quite a bit of him. And look, if you're in tournaments and you're looking to fade Shador and be contrarian, I think Easton Stick is the way to go. Again, we appreciate you guys very, very much. Please, no matter where you're watching, when you're watching, like, subscribe, all that great stuff. We appreciate the support. We know it's a Friday afternoon. Mm-hmm. People are out doing shit, starting their weekends early. So coming in and supporting us for preseason week 1 is truly a blessing. Thank you all so much. We will be back next week. Keep your eyes open this weekend on our channels. We'll be releasing our season-long rankings for your fantasy drafts. We have tight ends and quarterbacks already out. Tomorrow we're releasing running backs or wide receivers. I'm not sure which one. I'll let you decide. Running backs or wide receivers will be out tomorrow, and then we close it out on Monday with whichever one we don't get there. So be sure to check all that out. We'll be back next week talking more preseason football, getting you into it from myself and Eric. Have a great rest of your day. Have a great weekend. Good luck on all your